Hello. Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to our Resilience Podcast show. It's right now just to inspire. Right now, we got a special guest here on our Resilience Podcast show. And our resilience vision is to transforming our community one mentee at a time. Our mission is to inspire hope in our mentees, assist in their transition, and support their transformation through community, mentorship, restorative practices, and trauma-informed care. And today's special guest we got on here, he's one of the ones that founded this program that we're still operating, man, and we serve justice impact kids. And the reason why we started this podcast show is just to inspire those that are going through the same uh, trials and the trauma that we have overcame. So we're here to inspire, and hopefully a lot of you guys behind this lens that will be tuning in uh, can be motivated. You know what I mean? So today we got a special guest, I said, City Council member Jimmy Figueroa. Council member Jimmy Figueroa was elected as council representative for District 3 in November 2024. Jimmy Figueroa is a devoted husband, proud father of 2 daughters, and a passionate advocate for the community and has shaped him. As a lifelong resident of Oceanside, he is deeply rooted in District 3, having been born and raised in Tri-City neighborhood, a son of a Mexican immigrant and a former high school dropout. Jimmy's personal journey is a testament to resilience, perseverance, and a commitment to uplifting others. After overcoming obstacles, he earned his adult high school diploma and went to achieve his academic goals, making him a passionate advocate for education and empowering undeserved communities. For more than a decade, Jimmy has been a tireless advocate for working class families, youth, and neighborhood improvement. His leadership has been the key in creating mentoring programs for at-risk youth and developing programs to support our formerly incarcerated community members. As nonprofit leader and former executive director for a local homeless shelter in the North County, he has also directed and impacted on improving the quality of life for countless families in our community. Uh, it speaks for it all, but man, welcome, bro. Thank you for chiming in and uh, for your time. Time is precious, bro. And especially now that you're councilman, District 3. I know your time is busy schedules, but thank you for taking the time to come sit on this podcast show. So how you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. Thankful to be here, man. You know it's love, bro. I'm always gonna support anything you got going on, anything that Resilience got going on. I think at the core of like everything who I am, man, it's like it is that. You know what I mean? Supporting my loved ones, and when it comes to resilience, like I think to me, when I think even about like all of the work that I've been able to be a part of, resilience is still like at the core.
Right.
Something that I truly treasure. So
Right
yeah, it's
on.
love.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your heart, man. Man, just speaking about that, how did you get to be able to start the resilience mentoring program?
Man, it's God, bro. Like I think about like how that aligned. In 2017, I was in law school and I had just finished running the Reach Libby Lake program. And during that time, we ran a program where we welcomed everyone. Like we were very, intentional about having the kids from the neighborhood and those that were hanging out at the park who usually wouldn't come to an after school program to create a welcoming space for them. And people started paying attention on how we were able to really walk alongside youth that a lot of them were on probation, paperwork, or even affiliated, and helping them to graduate from high school, get jobs, and really having them be a part of the program. So from that, I was asked to be I was appointed to the North County Gang Commission by the Board of Supervisor at that time. And at one of the meetings, the assistant chief of probation came to the meeting and started sharing about this credible messenger program, right? And it was Ruben Leyva at that time, Ruben Littlejohn. And he used to come to some of the resilience graduation. And he shared about this program that they've been modeling in New York, where the recidivism rate has drastically dropped when they partnered with the the former gang members and formerly incarcerated leaders of the different boroughs of New York. And they said, man, they have been modeling this program and they want to bring it here to San Diego County. And they said, based off of the data, they want to launch the program in Oceanside. So I'm sitting there like leading the North County Gang Commission, listening to the Assistant Chief of Probation talk about this. We're in Escondido. This meeting's happening in Escondido. And so at the end of it, I just said, hey, like, you know, if it's done in Oceanside, it's different than Southeast, it's different than Escondido. Like, right. There's specific dynamics about Oceanside that I can help you with because I really believe in this. And, you know, we started talking, and from there, I knew that I was going to be a part of it. I didn't know that I would end up being, I would end up leading it for the next 4 years. I was more focused on making sure that we had representation when it came to the mentors, because understanding our gang culture in Oceanside, you know, it's one of those things you have to live here to understand it, and understanding what the different neighborhoods consist of culturally, you know what I mean? And also just the different politics of Oceanside gangs. And I just wanted to make sure that when the kids came to the program, they knew that we were intentional about having representation from their different neighborhoods. And that led to eventually, you know.
That's what's up, man.
But there was no resilience, none of that. It was just an idea, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
I was going to ask you that. How did you even get to rally up everyone on staff and brought them on the team?
Yeah, I think that was a part, like, through prayer, man. There was prayer, and that's why I say it's God, bro, because it was like, to get someone, you know, to get a mentor from each neighborhood.
Right.
Mentors that are now in their 30s and 40s at this time means that these were active gang members in the 90s, you know, early 2000s, at the peak of Oceanside's, like, gang activity.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I knew that I was going to be asking former rivals to come together to mentor this new generation. And for me, it was like, I didn't know who those people were at that time yet. But one by one, man, it was like, they started coming. Like, it was like, I first got connected with Timothy Jackson,
Right.
you know, who used to be, you know, he was a member of a gang that you were a rival of.
Yeah.
And he was the first person within the program that I said, okay, man, there's an opportunity coming. I'm not sure yet, but if it does come, man, I think you'd be perfect. And then the second person was Joseph Lopez, who was from one of our Southside neighborhoods,
Right,
in Oceanside. And I met him because I knew his wife, and I happened to run into him in the Valley. We were at an event that Mercedes Sale put together, an outreach event. And then it was Mercedes Sale who told me to reach out to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so on and so forth, man. And it was a lot of, like, conversations of having to reach out to the mentors. And then, like, you hit me, bro. Like, when I told you about the program, like, I remember I told you about, like, hey, I'm trying to do this. And it was kind of like, okay, like, man, I'm interested. But then the question was, well, who else is a part of it? Right. And
I remember that.
And I remember when I told you, like, I named Joseph Lopez, you're like, okay, yeah, me and Joseph are cool. We did some time in juvenile hall together.
Right.
And then when I said Timothy Jackson, you were like,
hold up.
Yeah. and I, you know, it was crazy thinking about that, bro. Like, now, like, once we started the program,
Yeah.
remember when we used to go to juvenile hall and tell the kids, like, hey, man, we're part of Resilience. Like, with the mentoring program, we're going to walk alongside you. And the kids would be like, yeah, man, I'm down with that.
Right.
But who else is in it, right? And so I think one of the important things was, like, man, if they can see that the mentors were willing to do it,
Right.
you know, hopefully it was going to inspire the mentees to say, like, nah, man, I want a better life. And I know I may have, like, issues and function like funk with this other person, but I'm focused on, like, improving my life. I can get past that.
Right.
So, yeah.
So now that you speaking on that, what does it really take to be a mentor?
Man, you know, the lived experience component of it is special if it's there. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is, like, if you are mentoring youth, young adults, and you have overcome a lot of the challenges that they're going through, whatever that is, right? Like, there's a lived experience component that is unique and special if it's there. However, I learned the most about mentoring from a Jewish, like, this white Jewish skinny dude who like did not grow up in the neighborhood, but man was consistent and loved on kids. And I learned more from him about what it takes to be a mentor than I've learned from anyone else. And that started when I was taking over Project Reach Libby Lake, which is a predominantly Latino community in Oceanside, Southside neighborhood.
Right.
I have family from that neighborhood. I personally didn't spend time in that neighborhood as a teenager because of my like friends and stuff. But those kids were going through very similar things that I went through, right? I'm from Oceanside, they were from Oceanside. And I remember I got selected to take over the program for him, right? And so I'm shadowing him for 2 weeks before he gets ready to transition out because he was going to become a senior pastor of a church up in the Bay. And man, just watching him with those kids, he had been in Libby for 5 years, right? And on his last day, all of these kids that were now adults were coming, kids from the neighborhood. I mean, like, whole group of Mexican kids in the room.
Right.
He is the only person that's not Mexican in the room, right? He's not from Oceanside, none. And all these kids are crying that he's leaving. And they're mad at me that, like, I'm taking his spot. You know what I mean? I'm a Mexican kid, you know what I mean? Or like at that time I was younger, but it's still like I'm from Oceanside. I went through a lot of things that they went through and they can care less.
Right.
Because Jason was a pillar of consistency. You know what I mean? He did what he said he was going to do. He was there for the families. He held them accountable at the same time. He showed up. He listened. And I think for me, I learned more from him in those 2 weeks than I've learned from anyone else on what it takes to be a mentor. And I think, again, the lived experience component of it is special because it allows you to relate to a youth only in a special way because you've gone through those same challenges. And I'll share a story real quick. I'll never forget when I saw you, like in real life do that. But when seeing Jason, I was like, no, man, it's key principles, bro. It's like, listen, walk alongside these kids, be consistent, don't give up on them, hold them accountable, build trust,
Right.
you know, and you can't, like, there's no magic pill to that, man. Like that comes with time,
Right.
you know, and the lived experience component, just really quick, man, I'll never forget this. When we first started our groups, when we had our restorative circles and we're sitting there with the kids, I think we were like 2 months into the program. And at that time we had a lot of kids from the East Side. It was predominantly a lot of kids from the East Side in the program. And I'll never forget, there was one kid on the opposite side of the circle that we're on as we're going around, you know, doing our circle. And the kid's like, he has certain mannerisms that I didn't pick up on, but you picked up on. And I just remember in the middle of the circle, you got up and you asked the kid to go to like the lobby area.
Right.
And I was like, and I remember I got up too because I didn't know what was going on. And then you asked him if he was coming down on meth. And then he like kind of like started cleaning himself off. You know, I don't know if you remember this,
Like Smokey on.
yeah. And he was like, and he was just like, what? He's like, nah. And you were like, bro, come on, dog. And then the kid looked at him and he's like, how can you tell? And you were just like, bro, like, I've been there. Like,
Takes one to know one.
right. And that's exactly what you said.
Right.
And it was like, he was like, man, I thought I was being cool. And you were like, nah, man, like, and you know, I think that for him, it hit him because he had been part of a lot of programs prior, but that was the first time that he didn't have to say a word. Like we had just got there too.
Right.
And, you know, you picked it up. And to be honest with you, it wasn't like he was acting wild or nothing. It was just like, there were certain things he was doing, you know, that you saw it immediately. And I think that's the part where lived experiences, you know, come
Right.
into play and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that day too,
Yeah.
man. And still to this day, we still connect, man.
Yeah.
It's life is ups and downs, but we still continue on showing the love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's part of mentorship, man.
For sure.
Stay connected,
Yeah.
being trustworthy, you know what I mean? And make it happen. Now in your life, who has been a mentor in your life and how did they impact you?
Yeah, I think like the first person that comes to mind is Faye Pow Pow. You know what I mean? Like when I was at Lincoln Middle,
Pow.
yeah, man, that's like OG. You know what I mean? When I was at Lincoln, he was security guard, Lincoln Middle School. And at that time, man, like you couldn't tell me nothing, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm cussing out teachers. I'm not going to school. Like if I go to school, it's like fourth period. I really didn't care. You know what I mean? Like really, like I could care less, you know, and I was really just trying to hang out. And Faye was always someone that can see through that. You know what I mean? Like he can see through that and he would really, again, the lived experiences component, you know, he would ask me things about my life that I had never considered or thought about. He would ask me things about my future. Even when I'm getting kicked out of class and they're asking security to come get me out, he's coming to get me out, but he's loving on me.
Right.
He's holding me accountable, but he's like, you know, he's also loving on me through that process. And just how he treated me, man, through that, like planted seeds in me as I got older. And I'll never forget, man. I remember I was like 13 or something like that. And he pretty much told me, he was like, man, like, you're 13 now. These are the consequences of your actions. But when you are 14, 15, these are going to be the consequences of your actions. But by the time, if you're still on this path, by the time you're 16, 17, this is what's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And man, I don't know why. Like at that moment, I was like, "Fine, man, I'm smarter than that. Yeah, I'm cool. Like I'm gonna be straight. Like I know what I'm doing, right?"
Right.
And I remember being 14, 15 and thinking about that conversation when some of the stuff that he said was going to happen started happening. When I was 16, 17 and homies were starting to get shot, stabbed, people were going to prison. Man, it's like those seeds that he planted in me and the things that he shared with me, it was almost like someone was screaming them through a megaphone in my mind.
I know what you mean.
And I was like, man, he's been right about everything. And man, like to this day, I always thank him for planting those seeds in me. So like when I ended up going to, when I got a GD, but then I went to Maricosta, transferred from there, went to UC Berkeley. When I graduated from UC Berkeley, man, I came home and I gave him like a thank you card. He was at my wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I think for me, like that's mentorship. It's not like a school year. It's not a semester long. Mentorship is like a lifelong journey that you enter with your mentees. And you've seen that now. You know what I mean? Like they go on to have families. And now the mentorship goes from like gang banging and getting off probation to like, man, I'm mad at my baby's mom, or I'm mad at like me and my wife not getting along, the kid, life, right?
Yeah.
And you have a mentor there to still walk you through it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, in the consistency component, you know?
That's right. So how old were you when you realized having Fa'i as a mentor? How old were you at the time when you realized the value of having Fa'i in your life?
Probably not until I was like 16, 17, you know what I mean? But I didn't have him I didn't have him in my life the same way I had him when I was 13 and then like 12, 14. I would still run into him. You know, whenever I ran into him, he would ask me those questions again. I think that, you know, there's a certain point when you're working with, and you see this, right? Like we've had certain youth at 13, 14, 15, we can't tell them nothing. It's like, we love on them. You know, they joke with us, like they'll kick it with us, and you know, but it's like it's almost one ear out the other, right?
Right.
But it's like you're planting those seeds, right?
Right.
We seen that same mentee at the age of 18, now more like, hey man, like, can we talk?
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that like you try to plant seeds as much as you can, you know, and understand that you may not be the one that continues to water them. You may not be the person that sees that seed become a tree.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's like that might be someone else, you know? And so it's just like, but that's stuck with me because that impact that he's had on my life, I'm 39 now. And so it's like, for the majority of my life, like those seeds that Fa'i planted in me have shaped and will continue to shape, you know, the rest of my life, God willing.
What's the difference between a mentor, a teacher, coach, and friend?
Yeah, I think the special ones do it all.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? The special ones are a teacher, a mentor, a coach. I think the friend component, there's a time where that can happen, but that's up to the mentee, I think, with the mentee's growth and maturity.
Right.
And what I mean by that is that when I'm your mentor, man, I have to hold you accountable. Like I can't just be your friend and affirm everything that you're doing if your actions are, you know, going to be destructive. You know what I mean? And so it's like, as a teacher, it's my job, and that's the time component. It's like I can walk alongside you, but I also need to show you how to ride this bike.
Right.
You know, and it's like, and sometimes it's I need to show you how to apply for a job, how to get a job, how to keep a job, how to grow your emotional intelligence, so you're not just reacting when you get upset. You know what I mean? Like you're not reacting where in this day of age, you're responding because someone said something crazy on social media and now you're willing to go catch a case over it. You know what I mean? Or violate. I think that the friendship can develop over time with the mentee's growth. But I think a mentor needs to be a mentor and not focus on always being liked by their mentee, because you got to challenge them, right?
Right.
I think with time and age, that mentee can become your friend. You know what I mean? You've seen that.
Yeah.
You know, we have mentees now where it's like, nah, man, this is like a little brother to me. This is like
Yeah.
a friend. This is like, but now they're adults and the relationship has matured
Yeah.
into that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But in the beginning, man, it's like, nah, man, I'm more than a friend, man.
Yeah.
I'm someone that I'm someone you can lean on.
That is a trip, because after we did what we did, man, I have all the youth coming up to me, come to my daughter's birthday party.
Yeah.
Come to, this and that. It's like, and just the response and the impact that we did back then. They come and say, man, thank you for everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what we did and what we do, it speaks for itself when you hear it from them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen it break cycles, but have you seen how mentoring can break cycles and create new opportunities?
Yeah, man. I mean, from like the resilience program, we're working with kids that are already in it. You know what I mean? Active gang members, kids that are already in the system. So I think with them, it's the cycles are like just a real life experience, man. We had a kid that got stabbed and we were at the hospital that night. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
he had a punctured lung and he was in the hospital for a week. And we spent that whole week trying to convince him or speak life into him to not retaliate when he came home.
Right.
You know, because all he can think is like, man, I can't let this slide. Everyone knows who stabbed me. Like, I'm not going to let that ride, and us being able to speak life into him for that week, as much as he probably didn't like it at the time, 5, 6 years later, now he appreciates it, and it put him in a different trajectory. The person who allegedly stabbed him is someone that we mentored as well. And we try to talk to that person as well. And, they, it was kind of like one ear and out the other. And
Right.
the mentee who got stabbed, who didn't come home and retaliate, which is someone we know would have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because he was with the business.
Yeah.
He has a full-time job. He's living life. You know what I mean? He's like away from the gangbanging stuff. Peace. He's got peace.
Yeah.
And the other kid is doing like 20 years right now for an
Right.
attempted murder charge, And so it's like, I think that's where you see it because it's going to change the trajectory of his life. But yes, because again, as a mentor, it's like you're walking alongside someone, and at times you want to give up. At times it can be suicidal ideations. At times it can be wanting to use. At times it can be wanting to respond and get your get back.
Right.
All of those situations can have a drastic impact on whether you're here or not.
Yes, sir.
But I think it's a lifelong, it's not just today, you know what I mean? It's like, it's something that you choose to be. It's something you choose to be, and it's something that you're going to have to commit a lot of time to, but also balancing your own family.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not for everyone, man.
Yeah, it's not. You got to balance everything out.
Yeah, it's not for
You know what I
everyone.
mean? Since we mentor, you got your own family at home, and you got more kids to assist, help out. It has to be a balance.
Yeah. How many times we get calls at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, you know what I mean? And so it's like, and I think that, again, it's about balance.
Yeah. What motivates someone to become a mentor themselves?
I think a lot of people want to be mentors. You know what I'm saying? But I like I said, I don't think it's for everyone.
Right.
I think that you have to be in a place in your life where you have to understand that being a mentor is going to require you to listen more than talking.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some people are really good at coming in and giving a speech.
Yeah.
And can be impactful with that speech. And again, doing speeches can plant seeds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that that's good. And I think there's a lane for that. There's some people that are really good at going into juvenile halls and doing the work there. But actually having mentees of your own, that's a marathon.
Staying connected.
Yeah. And that's not for everyone because it's like, if you don't have the time, or again, you have to do what you said you're going to do. You have to be consistent.
Right.
And you have to be okay with this mentee disappointing you.
Right.
And walking that out. And so, like I said, it's not for everyone, but I think that it's one of those things that it's like, you have to be willing to listen more than coming in and thinking that you're just going to be speaking the entire time and this kid's going to change. It's not going to work like that.
Right. What advice would you give someone who wants to start mentoring but doesn't know where to begin?
Wherever their heart, like essentially where their heart is, you know what I mean? I think for me, I always knew that like I wanted to work with youth, and young adults that were going through a lot of the challenges that I was going through. That's where like my heart was pulling me towards, right? And so those were kids in the neighborhoods, kids involved, maybe gang affiliated. I think my heart has always been there. And for me, it's like a part of my why. Man, I can't shake it. Like I'm a council member today, man, but when I'm not a council member no more, I'm going to be mentoring kids, involved in this lifestyle, because at the end of the day, like that's just who I am.
Right.
It's a part of me. And I think that like for someone that wants to get into mentoring, it's more of like, okay, what are the areas that you feel or that mentee that you feel most like pulled to help? You know what I mean? Because we need all of it. You know what I mean? We need mentors for kids that are 4.0 students.
Yeah.
We need mentors that are for athletes. We need mentors for people, that are pursuing academic goals, but they may be the first in their family to pursue it, and so, or, whatever it is, we need more of it. We need more supportive mentors walking alongside our youth, because, these times, man, like kids are being pulled in so many different directions.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though you're a council member right now, bro, you don't know what you left behind, that echo. There's a lot of youth I came across that you inspired as a mentor. They knew where you came from. They knew what you was planting, and then where they see you at now. And I know I came across a few Latino communities that said Jimmy Figueroa inspires me. So you left an impact, bro. I'm just letting you know that.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
And thank you for your service, man, public services. Community and legacy. How can mentoring strengthen families, schools, and communities? I see you do it already, how you connected us all, but let them hear from you. How can mentoring strengthen families, schools, and community?
It's the ripple effect, man. Like I think that like if I can pour into someone, I always looked at it like this, like, if I can impact one kid's life in a way that Fi impacted my life, it changed the trajectory of where I was going, and it prevented not having like my mom come see me and visit me incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? It prevented like that heartbreak that I saw some of like my family members go through, or the parents that we walk alongside. It changed the total trajectory. It can change the total trajectory of a family, but then that same kid can go on to become a mentor themselves, you know what I mean? Or lead programs in the community themselves and continue to plant those seeds. I think that's the legacy, man. The legacy is not in having a park named after you, having a statue, being on council. The legacy is like being able to walk alongside a family,
Right.
and help them gain peace. You know what I'm saying? Walk alongside a family and give them hope. It doesn't have to be publicized anywhere. Like the legacy is in people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that's the legacy.
Yeah. Last question. If everyone had access to a mentor, how do you think the world would be different?
I think we would be more caring. I think that we would be less focused on ourselves individually, more focused on how we can help others. I think that a lot of times we get in our own heads and our own feelings, and it's about me, and not being able to see like who's around us that can use our help. You know what I mean? Who's around us that like would love to be in the position that we're in,
Right.
and how can we walk alongside that? I think that we would be more caring space.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, just closing, man. Thank you for your time. Man, like I said before, man, time is precious, man. I know you got a busy schedule. You got family. You got the city. You just busy. But thank you again, bro.
No, man,
I appreciate you, man. And even though you doing something else, I'm still in the same field, man. Still got mad love for you, man. I love what you're doing for the community, how you give back. and just doing what you do. Continue on doing what you do, man. A couple of sense of humor, jab, ending punchline questions before you leave.
All right.
All right?
Do it.
What elementary did you attend?
I went to Chris McCall Elementary.
What school is the best? Lincoln, Martin, or Jefferson?
I'm gonna have to say Lincoln, man.
What's his name? Pirates or Wildcats?
I was at El Camino. I have more. I'll say El Camino.
Hello.
El Camino.
Target or Walmart?
Walmart.
Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart.
Batman or Superman?
Dang. Man, I probably have to say Batman, man. Batman was always prepared.
Right.
You know what I mean? Batman was always prepared.
Even though I'm wearing this, I'm a Batman dude too. Spider-Man or Captain America?
I say Captain America.
All right. Chargers or Raiders?
Chargers.
Shaq or Kevin Garnett?
Man, see, this is the thing. I'm a Laker fan, but I'm gonna go with KG only because, and this is crazy, because I'm such a big Kobe fan that I didn't like how the whole thing with Shaq and Kobe went down, even though they made odds before Kobe passed, man.
Right.
If Shaq just got in line, man, you know what I mean? If he just became Robin, bro, we would have been straight.
Yeah. You go with Kevin Garnett.
I love Kevin Garnett, man. His intensity. You know, KG's like intensity. Yeah, man. I'm a huge KG. Even though he played for the Celtics and all that, like his intensity was like.
I liked him too.
He reminds me of Bernard Hopkins, like on the basketball side. Like something about it, it's like I can rock with that.
Allen Iverson or Curry?
I would say Steph, man. Like Iverson was, again, and a lot of this is because I'm a Kobe fan. Iverson got the Rookie of the Year, and there was a time where everyone was like, Iverson's better than Kobe, and if Kobe didn't have Shaq. I mean, Iverson has come out, since then and said, no, Kobe's work ethic. But what Steph has done, I mean, it's like, you can't this dude changed the game.
Right, right. Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook?
Man, they're both dope. I like KG, like Russell Westbrook's energy is like, I can rock with that. But I think Derrick Rose, he would have been one of the greatest of all time if he didn't get hurt. And the fact that he was able to his own resiliency to stay in the league and just be like, okay, I'm not what I was, but I can still contribute. I think there's so much character in that.
Right.
You know what I mean? He had to really humble himself, to still be to have the career he had. So I'd probably say Derrick Rose.
Right. Okay. Now that you in the boxing, seeing you doing your cardio and all that stuff, how to jab, cross and all that stuff. Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson?
Muhammad Ali is the greatest, right? But Mike Tyson, to me, again, going back to the resiliency component, obviously Ali went through a lot as well too, but we're still seeing Mike Tyson walk out his life. And Mike Tyson, I grew up in the 80s, man. So it's 89. So it's Mike Tyson was everything.
Mike Tyson was a dog.
But even who he is now, it's inspiring, bro.
Yeah, especially how he's giving back to
himself.
All right, in the Mexican community, you Hispanic? Oscar De La Hoya or Canelo Alvarez?
Canelo, bro. I couldn't rock with. See, this is the thing, bro. Oscar, I watch old fights all the time. So I just watched the fight with Oscar and Trinidad a couple days ago. Oscar's super impressive, bro. He was an amazing boxer. But I don't know, man. To me, Oscar's a sale. When I see Oscar, I feel like I'm looking at a car salesperson, a used car salesperson, man. It's hard for me to get past that. But amazing boxer. But yeah, man, I'm a bigger Canelo fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know you're a big Oscar fan.
I like Oscar.
No, he's good. I mean, as a boxer, Oscar is I thought he beat Trinidad. He fought everyone. You know what I mean? As a boxer, I think what happens is I watch him as a promoter now, and it's just
right.
All
right, y'all. There it is, man. Jimmy Figueroa, the one that planted and started this program. Man, he did so much in the community. Really true. Thankful for that, man. Thank you for your time. City Councilman for District 3. You guys know him. You guys need any info, go ahead and contact him. He's a city councilman, so just go on the website. I think you can find all his info. You can email him. call him or whatnot, man. But just thank you again for your time, for coming down and sitting down and chopping it up.
Man, it's love.
Appreciate you,
yeah.
man.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
We out.